We've got a new couple alert for all NCIS fans out there. Things have been a little uncertain for Knight and Palmer this season, if you know what we're talking about. Fans were wondering if these two were gonna date, or were we just reading between the lines here? Well, the show's finale made sure to clear all confusion, and boy, did they shut up everyone with it. Join us as we spill all the deets. First up, a new romance is brimming. Gibbs might have had a rule about not fraternizing with his colleagues, but it seems like his co-workers may be forgetting his hard-drilled rules. Over the course of the show, we've been treated to highs and lows of many workplace relationships, notably Ziva David and Tony DiNozzo, and then Timothy McGee and Delilah Fielding. So, even with the main character's strict policies on the subject, this isn't new territory for the writers. In fact, from what we've seen so far, we might be getting another relationship on our hands. And it's none other than Jimmy Palmer and Jessica Knight, after Jessica asked Jimmy to be her date to a wedding in the episode Thick as Thieves during season 19 of the show. The fandom had been trying to figure out if these two will end up together. And what do you know? After weeks of detailed Tumblr posts and Instagram polls, the couple made it official in the season 19 finale as the duo shared a kiss. Next, what happened? We know Jimmy has been thinking of making a move ever since he saw Jessica all dressed up for him for their wedding date. Katrina Law in a dress is absolutely ravishing, and Jimmy wasn't exactly subtle in his reaction either when he saw the gorgeous agent all dolled up. Shockingly, Jimmy wasn't Jessica's first choice for a +1. She asked Torres, Parker, and McGee before him, but they all turned her down. Fans are speculating that she just wanted a casual thing, and with Jimmy, things would have been a little too serious, as she may have had the hots for him. She did compliment his dimples, and so Knight may have wanted something different for a first date. Still, this is the episode that got the ball rolling and got us to this momentous scene in the finale. As the show rounded up its 19th season, Jimmy and Jessica both decided to confess their feelings for one another. Apparently, emotions had been running high as Jimmy had been shot, and the duo was forced to retreat into the woods without their phones. Nothing like a good old Survivor trope and a dance with death to make an honest man out of someone. Knight, however, did seem a little hesitant to take the leap, fearing that she might just lose the friendship, but Jimmy's words, "You'll never catch a wave if you're too afraid to get on the surfboard," quelled any and all reservations. The two agreed to go on a date and give it a shot, and what do you know? Jessica is filling out a new disclosure form to announce her new workplace relationship with Jimmy. Jimmy actually asked the special agent if their relationship was worth declaring, and Jessica answered it the only way she knew how, with a kiss. You have to hand it to Shane Brennan and the other writers on the show for fitting in some fandom-shaking romance, as most of the season actually centered around Agent Nick Torres and his mental health. We just hope Gibbs doesn't come back to ask Knight and Palmer if he didn't teach them better than this. Or do we? Don't go anywhere, because we're gonna be talking ship names and more. Speaking of Gibbs, should the duo really go ahead and break his rule? While leading the team, Gibbs gave everyone a set of rules that they had to follow. Famously, rule number 12 was not to date a coworker. It was this rule that led to some tensions between Tony and Gibbs in episode 21 of season 8. Tony argued that he and EJ were not on the same team, but that did little to change Gibbs' stance on the matter. With that said, Knight and Palmer are very much throwing out Gibbs' rulebook. However, these two don't work under Agent Gibbs anymore, but the all-too charismatic Agent Parker, with a completely different leadership style. He's laid back, brings the team pastries, and even uses an app to communicate with his team, which is unlike one dinosaur we know and love. With that said, Parker might not go on the offensive after learning about this new romance on his team. He could easily let it slide. On that note, if Knight and Palmer get the team's blessing, it might just set them apart from previous couples on the show. It'll also help everyone delve deeper into the mechanics of a post-Gibbs world. Coming up, how are the fans dealing with it? Well, the usual responses. Some are over the moon, some are founded, some are confused, some are already thinking of baby names. As we said, they've been waiting for this moment for some time now, ever since the romance was first hinted at earlier this season. There are a lot of people on Twitter pulling a good old "I told you so" card on those who didn't believe that there was anything between the couple. One fan tweeted about how Jess and Palmer's kiss was a great scene in the finale, which we will have to agree with. Another fan talked about how these two make the perfect couple, which we will again have to agree with. All the while, most of the tweets were simply, "Finally, they kissed." Of course, there are some complaints about how these two got to kiss in 2 episodes, while fans have been left starving for Tiva, aka Tony DiNozzo, and Ziva David, but one thing at a time, everybody. We ought to be thankful for the show for not making this one a slow burn. Moving on, Brian wasn't shocked. While most of us are having a hard time coming to terms with the new relationship, there is one man who isn't as shell-shocked as the rest of us. We are of course talking about the one and only Brian Dietzen, the man who's been bringing Jimmy Palmer to life on our screens all these years. In an interview with Entertainment Weekly, the 44-year-old revealed how it's not a total surprise that the show is exploring Jessica and Jimmy's bond. He added that he previously talked to the producers and the people at the network about whether there could be something potentially between these two characters. Brian also revealed that this development in their relationship was actually foreshadowed in an episode that he co-wrote. Do you remember the one where he got the deadly disease with Cassie at the lab, and somehow his daughter happened to be at the NCIS office that day? Yeah, that one. Turns out he was the one putting his character to the grind Binder that time. You'll also remember that by the end of Helpers, Jimmy hangs up his ring, as is the case for most widowers when they feel it's the right time for them to move on. In this case, it was Jimmy's dead wife. In Brian's words, it was about a year after the death of his love of life, and it felt like the right moment for his character to move on and be more present for his daughter, except that in doing so, he actually ended up opening doors for himself, saying that he could find happiness again. If it weren't for Brian taking that step with his character, we wouldn't be here today with a Jimmy kiss to talk about. Let's talk about a ship name now. As is the rite of passage for most ships, the race is on to crown the couple with a ship name. The official NCIS Twitter name had the same idea because it posted a clip of the couple's iconic kiss, asking fans, what should the ship names be? And well, if you head to the replies, you'll find all the fandom's collective brain cells at it. Some are saying Calmer. There's someone rallying for Napalm. Jamesia is also a fan favorite, and so is Jamesica. However, the best one remains Knight in Shining Palmer. A bit too long, but we're willing to make an exception. Hopefully, we'll reach a consensus soon. Finally, a few thoughts from the NCIS showrunner. Judging from the story so far, we can see that the newest couple on the long-running crime show will be different from those in the past. But to have the showrunner Stephen D. Binder himself confirm this is definitely a good sign. In an interview with TV Line, Binder admitted that the will they won't they trope that the show is notorious for became a thing that externally was more of a thing than it was in their heads. But with Jessica and Knight, the writers don't want to take that approach. This is something that they birthed themselves in a vacuum. They want to play this one out more realistically. Two people at work, they have feelings for each other, and they're not coy about it. We're all on board for that. Alright, that's a wrap for this video. Does the new couple have your blessing or not? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. And make sure to leave a like and subscribe to our channel for more videos. Bye now.